You may wonder how one begins to begin again, when everything you were was merely the cocoon of who you're becoming. Because you see, when the mushroom sings, it does not explain, it melts. And you begin to remember things that you never learned. You know without needing to know why. You feel without needing to be told how. And you can't not already feel the shift, can you? Because the moment you hear these words, they begin weaving into you, like mycelium threading quietly under the forest floor, beneath the roots of who you used to be. So let me ask you this. Have you ever noticed how a single drop of rain can ripple across an entire still pond? Just like a single belief, planted deep, can ripple across your entire identity. And as those ripples spread, you can feel something loosening, not breaking, not shattering, just dissolving, like walls of self-imposed certainty, melting back into possibility. Because when you say, I'm an explorer of consciousness, you've already begun exploring. When you whisper, I'm the embodiment of spiritual evolution, you've already evolved. When the inner voice says, there's more to me than I allowed myself to be, the door is already opening. Let me tell you about someone who thought they were stuck. They thought they were small. They thought the world was limited, rigid, fixed, until they took a breath, just one breath, and with that breath they let go. They didn't know how, they just did. In the moment of letting go, a truth revealed itself, not in words, but in waves. And that wave was a memory, not of the past, but of who they were before forgetting. Because psilocybin doesn't teach, it unteaches. It peels away illusion, gently, relentlessly. It opens the portal to the sacred now, where you remember that time is not real, only transformation is. So let me ask you again, in another way. What if everything that you're afraid to lose was never yours to begin with, and everything you're becoming has been waiting patiently within? Feel it now, that spaciousness, that breath between thoughts, that fractal unfolding of truth like petals in the dark. There, right there. That is where your new system installs, right between the silence and the awe. Because beliefs, they're not chosen, they're grown. And what you plant, you become. So now we plant. All is one. I'm safe in surrender. My emotions, they're sacred messages. Love is the only frequency that matters. Every experience is here to evolve me. My body is the antenna of my soul. Certainty is an illusion, curiosity is the compass. I don't have to force it, I just have to feel it. My presence is healing, my path is divine. And maybe you already notice how these words begin to echo, not just in your ears, but in the deeper corridors of your inner cathedral. Because the mind may forget, but the unconscious never misses a beat. It hears the rhythm behind the words, the melody behind the meaning, and it knows exactly how to use this new operating system to transcend the old script entirely. You may ask, but how do I know I'm ready? And the answer is, you're asking. That's how. Now listen closely. There's a part of you that's always listening, even when you're not. And that part is upgrading right now. As you drift into this upgrade, consider this. A mushroom never tries to grow. It just responds to the dark by reaching for the light. And so do you. Perhaps in a few moments or days or dreams, you'll begin to notice something has changed. A calm confidence, a radiant stillness, a sense that you know something profound, without remembering when or where you learned it. Because you didn't learn it, you reclaimed it. You remembered who you are. A being of infinite awareness, riding waves of transformation, on the sacred sea of consciousness, anchored to nothing except love. And if all that can change, in just a moment of awareness, imagine what's possible when you live from that state every single day. And the person who thought they were stuck, they're now a force of light, a node of awakening, a seed that grew into a tree that fed the entire forest. Because they didn't need to fight the darkness, they just remembered how to bloom. And so can you, and so you will. And so you already are, because the installation has already begun. And the more you wonder if it's working, the deeper it goes.